Alright guys, it is a beautiful day today, and today we have like a really interesting project. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've just kind of put it off and put it off and put it off because I don't know how well it's going to work, but from my experience I think it'll work pretty well. So let me show you what we got. So we've got this electric windshield washer. I just love this packaging, it's hilarious. So this is basically what it is. It's a reservoir of the pump. This would be for like your windshield washer, right? So we are going to upgrade the size of this. I didn't pay attention to the size when I ordered it. I didn't realize it was so tiny. So I ordered a 5-quart one, but this one comes with like all this little stuff, like a little switch and little T's and stuff, which we had most of it. But I want to use this to get it set up because I don't know when the other one's going to come in, and we've got an event in less than a week at PBIR, which PBIR is horrible on tires because you're on track for 30 minutes. It's a fast road course and you're just drifting as much as you want. So this is going to come super in handy there, and we're going to be able to really test it. Like what I want to do is test, you know, a whole set of tires without using it and a whole set of tires with using it, and see how many more laps, or well, in PBR's case, it might only be half a lap. But I think it'll help, especially with hot lapping stuff like the last event. You know, I went through 5 sets of brand new tires, and I could have driven more if I had more tires, because what happens is they get hot and they just kind of get super gooey and just start destroying themselves. They disintegrate. So you've got to keep the tires at optimal temperature. That's what this is for. This will spray onto the tires. We've got the jets. I eventually want to run 2 of these. Let me take this stuff out up here so I'm not just showing you guys a plastic bag. I eventually want to run 2 of these nozzles in each wheel well, but for now we'll just plumb one. And then when we get the bigger reservoir, hopefully later this week, we'll plumb the second one. So that is the plan for today. We are going to see if that works. We've also got some other wiring to tidy up. Oh, this is nice. This comes with a little pigtail. That's cool. I didn't expect that, I think. But we'll get it set up, proof of concept, make sure it works, and then we've got other stuff to do. Mainly just I want to try to clean up some of the wiring that's already in there for these couple switches, and maybe 3D print something to make like a mount for all 3, including this, which in the picture this looks huge. This looks like this massive button and it's so tiny, but I like the momentary button style. I don't know, that'd probably be annoying because I could just flip a switch, but then I'll forget that it's on. So I don't know, we're gonna try to get this thing set up and see how she does. What else do we have in here? Oh, we got this clear plastic hose, and I don't think this is gonna be anywhere near enough, so we'll probably need to make a parts store run to get more of it. No, this is not enough. Definitely not enough. Okay, on to work progress of stuff. So I'm planning on mounting it right in the center back here. The bigger reservoir I have, like molded into the plastic, has spots where I can just tech screw it in. There's nothing back here. I don't think we can check because there's holes already. So we'll probably mount it right there, run the hoses, but what I've got to figure out is an easy way to run the hoses into the wheel well. I'm thinking we might just have to drill holes. That'd probably be the best bet, just like drill a hole straight down in here, and then one in the front, and then that way we can kind of screw the sprayer on, maybe print something to put it at an angle. That way it's spraying on the tires, because I want one going from the front and the back so that we're just soaking the tire as much as we can. So we're not going to worry about mounting the reservoir right now. We're going to worry about getting the nozzles in. Okay, so the first thing I want to do before we get too far into this is kind of mock set up the tank with the sprayers and kind of get an idea as to what kind of performance level we're talking about here. How much water is it going to flow? How fast is it going to flow it? You know, do we need 2 sprayers? Will it not be enough power for 2 sprayers? Like, all those sorts of things are kind of like what I'm going to try to answer. So we're going to hook this power probe up. Oh god. Just like that. See if it works first, which I mean, I'm hoping it will, obviously. And then we'll fill it up with water, hook some hoses up to it and sprayers, and kind of see what, you know, what we can expect out of it. Alright, well, it works. So let's go fill her up with some water. Agua. So small miscalculation. You've got vented cap, and then water just runs right through the pump. So we gotta set this thing on its side while we get the hoses set up, because I didn't do that first. Of course, right? So we got this little T. Got a fitting in this hose. Shove that on there good. We'll do the same for this one. Yeah, they're both spewing out water just by gravity. They'd have to be mounted higher. Oh, that's good to know. I'm glad we tested this. Holy shit. Let me get an alligator clip for this. So it looks like we got plenty of pump. Let's see how kind of quick it empties the tank. So they spray a pretty wide path. So we should run them like this, sideways. So that was about half a tank, that quick. So we're definitely gonna need the bigger tank like we thought, which is like 5 times the size of this. So it should work out just fine. All right, I guess we're gonna try to start running this stuff, and we have learned that these have to be mounted higher and that we need to mount them like this, like if here's the tire, because I was planning on mounting them like this, but it'll spray the path almost past both parts of the tire. So we'll spray them like this. So spray down onto the tire, we'll run 2. So if we put it up here, you know, it's still going to be, it's going to be so close to not being above. It'll be above, but barely. So I think we're better off putting it down here. I'm just worried that with the taller one, I mean, we can still get to it from this side. We should be able to still make it work. So we'll plan on mounting it right here. What I'm thinking is we'll drill a hole here and on the other side, angle them like this, that, like sideways and spraying towards each other, so they'll both kind of hit the top middle of the tire, roll over. One will roll towards the back, one will roll towards the front. I'm thinking we'll make a little L bracket and keep them above the inside of the wheel well. That way they're not susceptible to like tire delaminating and cording and stuff, like ripping them apart. So yeah, that's my plan. Okay, so we need to get as far up here as possible, probably right around here. That still puts us kind of on the edge, so we'll have to aim it towards the tire. That's why I love stepper bits, they're so quick. We'll go one size bigger. Pretty decent sized hole. That puts us, let's see, I can aim that right towards the middle of the tire if I keep it pretty much flush here, well, like this. Ow! With the sprayer, just pretty much just like that, and that should spray us right on the center of the tire. So what we need to do is make a bracket that this will thread and tighten up against. That's just an L, so we can self-tapper it, slide it in. So let's do that. This is pretty thick, but I think we should be able to bend this pretty easily. So we'll cut it across, and then bend it into an L, and then drill a hole in it. So like that. Count for the bend, and a little bit of extra room, probably like right around here. Alright, so I've drilled a couple holes in it. We're going to self-tapper it in, but it's easier than trying to fight to self-tapper through this and then through what we're going through. Okay, so we've got one self-tapper in there. We're going to hook the hose up to it and just kind of see what the spray pattern looks like, if we can, against the wheel. Alright, let's see how it does. I'm going to try to bend the top of the bracket out so it angles it down a little more. Now we're just missing the tire entirely. I think that's it right there, that spot. First we got to go karting for John's birthday, and it's hot. See the sun right there, blaring in. Then once we get back, we'll start running hoses, because I think that's for sure where I'm going to mount the other reservoir with pump. So we can go ahead and get our hoses ran and fittings set up and all that. Alright, so we went to Little 500 for John's birthday. We ate dinner. It was a lot of fun, but it is now 11 o'clock, so it's a little too late to start working on this. Plus, I need 2 more of the nozzles, so I'm going to try to get these at the parts store tomorrow. If I can't get the right ones there, I'll just order them on Amazon. I have to finish this up in a couple days whenever they come in, but I did get the other one in. Let's see if you can see it. Right there. So one thing I do need to figure out is this is going to be a huge hole to allow, you can't really see the hole, you can kind of see it, to allow smoke to get into the cabin, which is really not cool. So I'm going to try to 3D print a cap that like slides on over here, and that's kind of like, you know, kind of basically covers over the hole, and then I can silicone it in so that these, you know, will be like sealed. The cabin will be sealed from the willows, so we don't get smoke pouring in the car constantly. So we need to drill the holes for the other side, but I went ahead and just whipped out a couple more brackets for the other side. So whenever we get the nozzles themselves, will be good. I think we'll have enough rubber hose to run everything. So tomorrow we're gonna try to finish running everything, maybe get the holes drilled and whatnot. Try to get as far as we can without having the main reservoir that we're gonna actually use. Another beautiful day here in Florida. Don't get to say that super often. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill out the other 2 holes needed for the other sprayers. That bits are amazing for stuff like this. Like, I just made that giant hole in the time it would have taken me to drill a pilot hole. Alright, so what I want to do now is focus on wiring on the switch. We also have this switch which overrides the fan, so it turns them on constantly when key is on instead of turning them on at a certain temp. And it's just kind of like sketchily wired right here. The wires go down and like through the door sill area. So I'd like to move this as well, just because it'd actually be nice to use this cup holder for drinks when I'm drifting, like bottled water or something like that, and because it just kind of meh. So I'm thinking this thing's already pretty nasty, so maybe drill a hole here and put this here, and then put the push button for the sprayer on the other side. We'll just have to lengthen these wires, probably want to rerun them. Basically we'll need to run some sort of power source to it. I mean, key on would work fine, and then power out from it to the pump, and then we'll just have to run a ground to a ground back where the pump is. So very, very simple process of wiring, just power in and out of the switch. So that is what we are going to focus on now. Pop this ribbon cable off. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that the AC controls are on a ribbon cable in this car. Is that common in new car wiring, ribbon cables? Now we just need to find some wiring to tap into. We'll get there when we get there. Let's first get this switch out, drill a hole, mount it, then we'll run the wires for this, run the wires for the other thing. So pro tip, if you're working on your 350Z, which the doors never stay open, you put a vice grip on the little thing that's supposed to hold it open but doesn't work on any of them. To be approximately the right size. Honestly, I'm just going to use the step bits. Right around here. God, it's so much easier than a normal drill bit. I mean, I know it's plastic, but still. Boom. Alright. Let's see. It goes in. That was like the perfect size. So while we have this out, Jesus Christ. While we have this out, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and drill the hole and put the button for the sprayer. Same size. Try to get it around the same height. Custom switch panel, hashtag mods, hashtag custom. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we've got these 2 eyelet connectors. These are gonna go on here. We're gonna run about 12 inches of wire from these to, either one of these, a male or female spade, that connect together, and then connect the other part to the existing wires that are there. That way we don't have to reroute anything. I was gonna reroute all this stuff because it's kind of, I'll show you how it's ran, and I'm not a fan of it, but I also like don't care enough. This is like kind of a missile car, you know? So the wires are currently ran through there, but it would be a big process to take everything apart, to get them all out, and then rerun them through like a grommet and back through there. And honestly, it just doesn't bother me that much. It kind of does. I'm trying to convince myself that it doesn't, but these wires are almost long enough to reach over here. Once we tuck them back there, they won't quite be. So that's why we've got to put our little extension cables on, and that makes it easier for us to disconnect it in the future anyway. So that is what we're going to do. So we're going to cut these off, put some spades on it, and then roll from there. So you want to try to use the connector that's meant for whatever wire gauge you're using. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to shove it in, or you're not going to be able to crimp it tight enough for it to not come out. And one thing I used to do is I'd be afraid it's going to come off, so I'd like be super gentle with it. You want to make sure it's not going to come off. Give it some decent tugs. Make sure it's crimped tight, because if you can just pull it off by hand, it's probably going to cause you problems. So got a heat gun this time, doing things the right way. Turn it up to full tilt, 1100 degrees. So yeah, these are heat shrink connectors, which is why they're like pink and pale yellow. It's because they're translucent, because they're heat shrink. But what that does is this, like the shield itself, heat shrinks down onto the wire and creates tight seals, so you don't have to worry about water and things like that getting in there. This works way better than a lighter, by the way. I always used a lighter for the longest time because I never had a heat gun. This thing's annoying. It has like this cool down mode. So for like 60 seconds it just does this. It's like so pointless. I'm just gonna leave it on low while I do the other one. These like will not work right if you get little pieces stuck in it, like because they can't close down all the way. They get stuck on those pieces. It took me a while to figure that out. I was like, why is this thing not working? And I realized there's wire stuff stuck in it. Okay, so we put, oh, this is pretty heavy wire. We're gonna have to go up connector size. Yeah. All right, so then we need our female spades, but we're gonna need them in yellow. All right, now we can heat shrink these up, connect them, move on to the next part of the project. Okay, so we've got our power probe. There are some red wires in here. They're taped off, which will heat shrink off anyway. So that's ground. Let's see if it gets power. Key on. Yeah, 12 volts. That's perfect. And key off, no power. So we can use this wire here for our windshield spreader. It's here. This here, and then it should become a connection. Yep. So see, we got these connected. Power and ground. Oop, now there's a connection. If we have power running into one side, stop spinning around so much. If we have power running into one side and it running out the other side, what'll send the power out the other side will be the press of the button. So I'm out of solder, so what I did was I wrapped them around. We're gonna get them a little tighter, and then we will heat shrink them onto it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's this isn't like a crucial part where the engine's gonna blow up if this doesn't work, so it's not a big deal. This translucent stuff's nice because you can kind of see where there's air pockets, and as you heat it, you watch the air pockets go away, and it shows that it's like sealing to the wire. Gives you a nice visual cue when you're done. All right, so now we've got this leftover trailer wiring. So we're gonna go ahead and strip this and add a connector on both ends. All right, do the same on the other side, and we will start installing and testing. Let's see if everything works as it should. All right, so I ran the wire down in the center console, up through that back shelf thing. So it pops out right there, comes out of that hole there, down into here, down through there, out through there. Beautiful. So now we're gonna hook just pretty much everything up really and see whether or not we did the things right or not. So we'll test one thing at a time. So key on. Perfect, you hear that? One of my fans, the bearing shot in it, by the way. Need to fix that. Yeah. Woo! I don't know if you can hear that, but. Oh, all right. So now we can go ahead and just install everything back the way it was. Look at that pro tucked wiring. Let's see if everything still works. Yep. Yeah. Hell yeah. Happy with that. I feel like that is pretty snazzy. Sick. Alright, so the hoses are all ran. What I'll probably do is run one hose to the tank and then Y it up here to go to the front and rear sprayer and do the same thing over here. So I'll just have the T, hose, and then it'll split up here, so pretty much all the hoses will be hidden. We got these hoses ran over here and just kind of cut a little long, so when we mount the sprayers here, we can get this part wrapped up. But that's pretty much it. We know it works. We got the wiring done. I'm honestly just super stoked on not having that switch on the cup holder anymore. That was so jank. I think that's going to be it for today's video. That's pretty much the process of wiring in one of those little sprayers. The Amazon thing's nice because you get the connectors and the little button, but you could easily buy all that stuff separate. So I'll put the link to the 5-quart one I got below, and then the Amazon link if you want to just get a small one like this. And you'll obviously need a little bit of rubber hose because that plastic clear hose is not enough to run one on each wheel, let alone two. So I do need to order some more sprayers. And again, I'm waiting for the tank to come in. So once those come in, I'll wrap it up. I'm going to work on 3D printing the little covers. So during whenever we get to the testing video, which should be like within a week, I'll show you guys kind of the finished product and how it all looks in there, and then we'll test it and see if it actually works or if it doesn't work. I know it's going to work. It's just, will it make enough of a difference to be worth the effort of filling up the tank and the effort of buying and installing it and doing all that? So that's what we don't know, and that's what we'll find out. As well as we're going to compare Kindas to some other cheap tires, maybe 2 different cheap tires. So we'll see how that goes as well. So I'm going to make a couple different videos. Let me know if you want to see like just a normal drift event video. I might do that just because it'll be fun to send it in the Z there. I don't know. We'll see. But we're definitely going to test this, and we're going to do other things. And hopefully the Miata will be back soon. It's still getting caged. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.